What's up, everyone? Welcome to Short Game Long Talk, a video game podcast for a hectic life. I am one of your co-hosts, Eric, joined always by my co-host, Jess. This episode is going to be about the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. Game takes about 2.5 hours to beat. I did it in one full sitting. And Jess, how many sittings did it take you?
So I started playing it at right at the beginning of my winter semester or spring semester. God.
It is spring, huh? Even though it starts in winter. That is always weird. That always messed me up because there is a winter semester. It's like 4 weeks long.
But so since I started it right at the beginning of the semester, it took me a couple sittings.
Okay. So a couple as in like 2 or 3. What do you think?
I think 3 sittings in total.
Okay, for sure. So yeah, we're going to be going over this 2.5 hour game and probably talk about it for at least an hour, I would say. That's what we do here. Talk about games for much longer than we need to. But yeah, this game, this is going to be a different episode just because I didn't have time to replay this game. I played it when it came out last year on April 1st. A little background, this game is a April Fool's game, but in reality, it's like a full-fledged visual novel based on the Sonic the Hedgehog characters, and came out last year on April 1st, 2023, and I haven't played it since then. So this one's going to be much more Jess run than we normally have, so I'm excited. So Jess, where would you like to start?
So let me talk about the feeling of this game. It's a great game. If you love visual novels, it's amazing. Like the character design, the sound design, the lines. There's so many like quick little quips that made me chuckle or like made me turn my computer to my roommate and be like, "Look at what Sonic just said."
Yeah, the art design of these characters. Like, I think if you are a Sonic fan that is like born somewhere between like 1988 and like probably the early 2000s, you have to play this game because it's like every character that you can think of that's like ever been important in a Sonic game is here except for Charmy the bee and Cream the rabbit, but I think that's just because they're fucking children, and so I don't think they're allowed on this murder train. But yeah, I was like obsessed with the character design in this. Who was your favorite design?
I loved either SBO or Tails.
Got it. Oh yeah, for context, this game takes place on a train, and it's it's Amy Rose's birthday, and it's like a murder mystery train. So like all of the characters get on there, they all have a role, so they're all in outfits, which we'll talk about a little bit more. Mine was definitely Shadow, just because Shadow in clothing was just like so funny to me. I was like, him wearing clothing is hilarious. Also, Vector always looks cool.
Also, shout out to Knuckles in his country outfit,
dude. Yeah.
When he came on and it was like he was in a country outfit, I was like, what is this?
Yeah,
but
dude.
He rocked it.
I mean, everybody rocked it. Everybody looked so good. It was, yeah, this is a full game. Like, it's an April Fool's game for sure, but like the credits are long. There's a lot of people that worked on this game, and it was worth it.
I stayed through the credits to see if there was like an end credit scene or anything.
Mm-hmm. I don't think there was there?
There was not.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this game is just so good. It's 2.5 hours, and then, oh yeah, we forgot to mention, it's free. Like, it's a free game. So, like, you have no excuse not to play it. It's 2.5 hours. It's honestly just a funny Sonic game that is a pretty good story and made me want more games like this. Like, I want more, because I love Sonic characters. I think the characters of Sonic the Hedgehog have always been, like, the strongest part. They all have so much character to them, even in bad video games. They are just super fun, and I think they make for perfect like safe and fun visual novels. Like, I think this is a great entry point. If you're interested in visual novels, this is a great way of being like, yeah, it's 2.5 hours. It's funny. It has a little mix of gameplay. It was one of my favorite games last year, and it's one of my favorite visual novels because I can recommend it to people because it's free.
And I will say, I've tried to get into visual novels before,
Hmm.
and there's only some that I was able to be like completely invested in. But had I started with this one, I think I would have gotten onto the visual novel train a lot earlier.
Yeah, I think that's yeah. I mean, it opens up the door for sure. Like, and it sets a standard because now you can be like, this is exactly what I'm looking for in a visual novel. Like, a little bit of fun, a little bit of slight gameplay, somewhat mystery, some kind of choice, but not really. Like, there's a lot of different choices you can make, but it all kind of leads to the same spot, which is kind of par for the course for like a 2.5 hour visual novel. You can't really do too much more than that. And yeah, I think this could lead you to a whole new realm of games. Like 13 Sentinels is another one. It's a visual novel with like some minor gameplay, and like that's like a long visual novel. But yeah, that'd be interesting to hear back if you report back with some visual novels that you experimented with in the coming months.
Yeah, I definitely will be, especially if they're free like this.
Yeah, there's definitely free ones, I'm sure.
And backstory about how we picked this
Oh
game.
yeah.
I was looking on Steam one day, like 2 weeks before finals, because I wasn't worrying about finals at the moment in my fall semester. And then I saw the Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, and I turned to my roommate and I was like, "Hey, should I play Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog?" And my roommate was like, "That's actually something you guys should do for your podcast." So I pitched it to Eric, and I think it was already on our list.
Definitely was on our list. It wasn't when
Yeah.
we started the podcast, but I played it and I was like, I'm just going to go ahead and add this on the list because this is so funny.
So I was like, "Hey, Eric, we got a request to do something for the podcast." And he was like, "Yeah, let's do it. January, let's go."
Yeah. It's a great, perfect way to like, start the year. It's really funny. It's really easy. Anybody like, that's why I've been posting more on social media about the fact that we're playing this game because it's like free. Everybody can play it. Anything can run it. I'm pretty sure it's on mobile now too. So like, yeah, it was a good way to start the year because everyone can play it, and I think anyone that has any semblance of knowledge of Sonic will enjoy this. And if you know a lot about Sonic, you'll enjoy all of the references because there's a
Yeah.
ton. So it was a very good game. Is there anything you wanted to cover before we kind of like, because I don't have a plan, so I wanted to see if you wanted to cover anything before we kind of like discuss the plot of this game, and then before we move into intermission and then spoilers.
Yeah. There's a certain point that I got so frustrated in it, and we'll talk about this post intermission.
Mm-hmm.
But just to let anyone know, if they'd like want to stop here, there's a certain point where you can't go back and save. So just be aware because I was not, and then I had to redo a couple sections.
Oh, I'm so curious what part you're talking about, but we'll
But
get
that's
there.
it.
Okay, cool. How well do you remember the plot of like, or the setup, I should say, of this game?
I remember the beginning very vividly.
Perfect. Take it away.
So you're this little like brown fox because obviously you're an animal like all the other.
I would have loved if you were just a human.
But it's your first day on the job, and you go to write on your little name tag, and that's how you like put your name into the system. My favorite thing about that little opening part is when you go and like type your name in, it your character goes, "I hope they can read my squiggles." Or no, scribbles.
Yeah.
But you meet with the train conductor and he's telling you like, "Yeah, we're having a party with the Sonic the Hedgehog," and your character is freaking out because it's Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah. It's a superhero, literally.
Like you're like, "Oh my god, like the Sonic the Hedgehog," and the conductor's like, "Yeah, it's a birthday party. Just do your job, make sure that they have a good time." And like 2 minutes later, you find out that your job is I forgot the exact wording for it, but I called it Master of the Microwave.
That's right. Yeah. I called it that too. Yeah.
Because you just reheat chili dogs or, oh, I just remember the chili dogs. I don't remember anything else.
Yeah. I mean,
Ramen.
Ramen. Okay. I was like, chili dogs is the famous food from Sonic the Hedgehog, so that would have been fine.
Yeah. But everyone. Oh, and also the train has a mind of its own, and it has its own arms.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Little robotic arms that move around the train whenever needed. It's also important to note for the rest of the plot that this is the conductor's last train ride.
Oh
He's
yeah.
retiring, and then he's going to go move with his wife, and he's never going to work again. And he's like, I've been with this train for the last 30 years, when I was a wee lad like you. But the train conductor, he's so cool. He's like a shepherd dog. He's
Yeah.
got like all the shagginess of a dog. It's so cute. But when the passengers board the plane, everyone you're freaking out because it's Sonic and all of his friends, and you have to take. And Amy shows up, and she's like, "It's my birthday. This is my birthday party." And they explain the basis of the birthday party. So if you're familiar with Mafia, it's like that. Or Among Us. Mm-hmm. Among Us works.
Among Us might be a better, a more broad. Everyone's played Among Us at least once, especially if you listen to this podcast.
Yeah. So it's like Among Us. So basically, each of the passengers on the train have a little like identity card, and it like tells them what they are practically. So you've got Tails the detective, Amy the journalist.
Oh, that's right. She is a journalist. Yeah, she keeps talking about her scoop throughout the whole.
I can't.
Vector's a blacksmith, I think. Knuckles is the sheriff. SBO is a poet.
Poet.
Shadow is
Shadow
a locksmith. Yeah, locksmith, which is very important. I feel like most people's characters don't really matter too much, except for Shadows. Shadows is like very important that he's the locksmith. The Blaze the cat is like I don't know exactly, but she's basically like a debutante. Like she's just like a rich lady. And then
Yeah.
Rouge the bat is like a.
Oh,
like
okay. I have it.
Beautiful.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
So Amy's a journalist. Sonic is a ship captain. Tails is a detective. Knuckles is a sheriff. Vector is a butcher.
Oh, he's a butcher.
SBO is a poet. Blaze is a titan of industry.
Got it.
Basically, she runs the casino. And Rouge the Bat is a business tycoon. Shadow's the locksmith, and we are just here for the ride.
Yeah, literally. Like, we help Tails, basically, is the name of the game. Because Tails is the detective, and he's a literal genius. So, yeah, I think thinking back on it, I think the only character that really matters, like what their role is Shadow. But it is worth noting that some of the characters' lines are inspired by their role, but like most of it doesn't matter.
And also where they go is inspired by their role.
That's true.
Because Sonic, being the captain, goes to the conductor car along with the conductor. Knuckles, being the sheriff, is stationed in the saloon. Vector, he's just there for the ride. Vector and SBO are together, and they go to the library car. Blaze and Rouge are both in the casino car. And then Shadow is in the lounge car. If you see a map of it, it'd make more sense.
It's a straight shot. It's a train, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the order that they appear in, except at the end. The last one is where Sonic is with the head car. But yeah, that's basically it. And those are the rooms that you're going to be hanging out in for the most part. I think that, I mean, do you want to discuss the inciting event on what happens?
Oh, the train speeds up. So everyone like starts heading to where they need to go. And then the train speeds up and you get locked in a closet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you get like thrown into it like because it speeds up? Okay.
Yeah. It gets speed up because you're left in the dining car with Tails and Amy. And the train starts speeding up and then the screen goes black and then you wake up in a closet with Amy and Tails.
Oh,
and then
side note, who's your like? How familiar are you personally with like these characters outside of like the obvious like four?
I'm vaguely familiar.
Hmm.
Like, I'm gonna be completely honest. When I first saw SBO, I was like, "Who the fuck is that?" But then when it was like, "Oh, I'm SBO," I was like, "Oh, right."
Yeah, that's fair.
But like,
I feel like
I'm
SBO is definitely more of a like, oh, he's older than like Blaze and Rouge though. Yeah. So do you know like all those other characters?
yeah.
Okay.
My favorites growing up were Rouge and Amy.
Yeah. Amy's great. I love Amy. She's always
I
been one of
love
my
Amy.
favorites. I love her just like straight up devotion to Sonic, but she's also like a badass. I thought
Yeah.
that was always cool. Yeah. I like none of these characters are weak. Like that's what's so interesting. I've always loved Vector. I think his design is like so 90s and I just love that he's just like him, SBO, and Charmy just work as like either muscle or detectives or private investigators. They just do whatever they can for money, and I think it's so funny. Especially because SBO is like a ninja, like literally.
Yeah, he actually says this. This is one of his lines because when you first greet him, you're like, "Wow, he's so poised," and then SBO goes, "You think I'm poised?" Like you think
Hmm.
in your brain, you're like, "Wow, he's so poised," and SBO's like, "You think I'm poised?" And you're like, "How could he read my thoughts?" And he's like, "I study ninjutsu."
Yeah, he has some great lines. Like I know there's one about him like speed reading, which is so funny, and I just can't remember it off the top of my head because it's been almost a year. But that is a big strength of this game is the writing is so good. Okay, but yeah, we're in the closet we're in like a storage closet with Amy and Tails.
Yeah. And you're like, "Oh my God, whoa, what happened?" And so Tails is like, this must be the start of the murder. Because to them, like, it's still just like the murder party. Like,
Yeah.
of course, it's obviously gonna start with a mysterious thing to put the detectives back.
Hmm.
But so Amy's like, "You guys are finally awake," and thus begins the first detectiveness with you and Tails,
Yeah.
where you have to figure out how to get out and what caused you guys to get into the closet.
Yeah, it's a little tutorial. Is this the first time that the little like Game Boy style mini game pops up?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, to go over that as like a part of gameplay because it's really the only like actual gameplay aside from clicking on things. There's like basically it's 3 lanes, right, that you can go around in. You basically like gamify when your character is like thinking and trying to solve things. You play Sonic. You play like an auto running Sonic game to try to collect rings, and it gets kind of difficult later. But it's pretty fun and it's kind of a cute way to be like, yeah, we're still playing some kind of a Sonic game. But yeah, that there's one part of this little like storage closet fiasco is that you find out that because Amy it's her birthday, she has like special privileges for
She has the birthday key.
yeah, and she was allowed to bring on a weapon too, like just because it's her birthday, they're like, all right, yeah, have a weapon. But yeah, she has some special privileges because she's a birthday girl. But fast forwarding a little bit to getting out of the storage closet because it doesn't really matter too much right now.
Yeah.
That's when we like discover the body, right?
Yeah. You get out of the storage closet after like, oh no, you're right. That is when the Game Boy shows up.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm glad we went over it then briefly.
But so you get out of the closet with Amy and Tails, and you see Sonic full on like Family Guy fall type, with like blood coming out of his mouth, and everyone's like, "Oh my God!" And he's not responding.
Yeah.
Like, as much as you guys call his name, and I think at one point you poke him, like he is not. I think he mumbles something. I can't completely remember, but he's like knocked out. And so Amy's like, now we have to find the murderer.
Yeah.
And she sets off without you and Tails. Well, you can choose to go with Amy, but I immediately chose to go with Tails. So I don't know what happens if you go with Amy.
Yeah, I stayed with Tails too, so I'd be curious.
I don't know if because I haven't seen any other POVs, but I feel like with how the game's set up, if you choose to go with Amy, it would just round about you back to Tails.
Probably. Yeah, you probably don't even have an option. It's probably like an illusion of choice kind of thing.
Yeah. That's a lot of what this game is. It looks like you have like 10 different choices, but then it's like, that won't work. What else can we do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's definitely for short visual novels like this, you don't really have a lot of there's not a lot of actual options, and I think it's still funny to click on the wrong ones because you get some very, very funny interactions for choosing the wrong options.
Yeah. So yeah, Amy jets off because she's like, I need to go interview people. And you start by looking around the dining car. There's not really many clues. From what I can recall, I don't think there's a lot of clues. And then, yeah.
I think that's a good enough starting point for us to discuss. Like, yeah, that's the inciting incident. Sonic is the one that was chosen for murder. They are all assuming that he's just acting and everything like that. And then I think it's our character that like realizes that he's actually not acting. I don't know if it happens here or not, but it is determined that no, Sonic actually is like hurt, and he's not dead. Yeah. He's not actually dead, but he is hurt in some way. And so it becomes an actual mystery.
Yeah. I'm looking at a little synopsis. Practically you find Sonic's unconscious body lying on the floor. Amy just thinks that he's playing along. But you as a player is horrified, and you hear that Sonic, this is the mumble that I was right. He goes, I can't move. I'm numb. And then you briefly assume that he's genuinely hurt, but brush it off and continue onwards.
That's the name of the game. Yeah. Okay. So I think that's a good enough spot for us to kind of explain the game and not give away too much more. Like that's going to be your first like 30 minutes of the game. And then the next like hour and a half is going to be like actually discovering and exploring and having some fun interactions with these great characters. So before we go to intermission, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
No.
Cool.
I pretty much said all I needed to say.
Yeah.
I love the music. The music in the background. Oh, yeah. God.
Everything about this game is good. Like it's the art is really, really pretty. It's really well done. The music's great. The writing is great. Like I have no complaints about this game, especially because it was free. Like I would have paid $5 for this game.
Yeah.
So the fact that it was given for free as a joke. And if you haven't, one thing I will go say is like, go watch the announcement trailer for this game. It is so funny. Cause if I remember correctly, it's like an announcement for a new Sonic game. And it's like Sega saying they're doing something with Sonic they've never done before. And then it's like, he died. And it's very, very funny. So I would highly recommend watching that. I would highly recommend playing this game. And honestly, like if you are interested, I would stop after like listen to the intermission, go play the game, come back and join us for the spoiler section because it's free. There's no harm in that. Let me double check real quick to make sure to see if it is actually on mobile. It does not seem like it's on mobile, but it is on Steam for free. And basically, I can't see a computer not being able to play that.
Yeah, my homework computer ran it beautifully.
So yeah, then you're good to go. If you have a Steam Deck, that's how I played it. It was more than functional and worked pretty well. So I would recommend it. Okay, well with that, we will see you guys in the intermission. All right, we are back in the intermission, our first intermission of 2024, and the first intermission since like early, like or late November, I think.
November?
Yeah, it's been a long time, so there's a lot to catch up on. At least on my end. Jess, you said you had received something for Christmas that you're looking forward to start playing. So what do you got?
Yeah, so Zoe, Jared's girlfriend, got me Unravel 2.
Oh, nice.
And my boyfriend also got it too. So we're going to try to play it
That'll be
together.
cool.
But
Nice.
if we can't like find the time because he works, I go to school and, everything else, life. Unravel 2 is also available as single player. So I can just do that
Nice. What do you have it on Steam?
on Steam, yeah.
Nice. That'll be cool. I'll maybe you guys can do your own episode because I think that's a shorter game. That'd be kind of fun. That's awesome. That's a fairly older game, right?
Yeah, for the
Nice.
most part.
Did
me
you
check.
want that game, or was it like a surprise?
No, Zoe was like, "Have you played this before?" And I was like, "No." And so I got it because I've never played it.
Nice.
When were you released?
I want to say my guess is
Okay, I have it.
okay. My guess is 2018.
Yep, June 9th, 2018.
Yes. All right. That felt good. That was a total, like, I was just like, I don't know when the first one came out, but I feel like that first one was like 2013, 2014. So, nice. That'll be cool. Yeah, I mean, if you guys enjoy that and you guys can set up a way to record, you're more than welcome to do an episode on that with just the two of you, because I don't have that game. But that'd be cool. It has like online co-op.
Yeah,
Nice. That'd be fun. There's anything else
think.
that's been going on in the last 2 months, basically?
I keep making progress on our supposed like year-long work of Super Mario Odyssey.
Oh yeah. That's fun. Forgot about that.
I just completed New Donk City.
Nice. Oh, that's such a fun.
favorite.
That's such a good stage.
It was my favorite one to do. God, I love that one.
Yeah. It's just a good
And
game.
I just downloaded Overwatch 2 because everyone keeps talking about it. So I downloaded it and I got through the tutorial,
Okay.
but that's it.
I am so curious how that ends up going, because I was a Overwatch like day one player. I really enjoyed that game and had so much fun with it, and even picked it back up during like quarantine era with some friends and had a great time doing it. And then from what I've heard, the rollout of Overwatch 2 has been an absolute nightmare. But if you are just playing it with friends and having fun, there's no reason not to, enjoy the game. So I'm very curious how that ends up going for you.
I will report next month on
Yeah.
our next episode how it's going for me.
Sounds good. Who are you going to be playing with?
Z.
Okay, nice. You've been playing Lethal Company too.
Oh yeah, I fucking love Lethal Company.
Yeah. Oh no, we did. I'm now remembering we did have an intermission during the game of the year, so it's only been a month.
Okay, well, Lethal Company still is goated. I still like it.
I still haven't played it.
I will say there's been an update where they took away one of like our only ways of being safe against some monsters.
Oh, they took away like an exploit kind of thing.
Yeah, because there was a part where there's if you were getting chased by something, you could jump onto the railings
Oh,
and
okay.
and they couldn't touch you, but they took that away.
That seems
Which-
reasonable, but
Well, it's reasonable, but they took it away when we were using it against the monsters that you can't beat to death.
okay.
So for those monsters, it's either hope that you have enough stamina to run and you're close enough to the main door to exit, or you're fucked.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that's frustrating. But you're still enjoying that, playing it pretty
Yes.
regularly. That's good.
Yeah.
I will play it eventually, but I I've been preoccupied, and I will be preoccupied for at least 4 more months, I think, with video games. Yeah. I did you have anything else that you wanted to that's been going on in your life, whether it's gaming or otherwise?
No, not really.
Okay.
Just school.
Okay. I've been playing Baldur's Gate 3. I don't know if I mentioned that in the intermission, but I did 30 hours in one playthrough, and then I was like, I'm going to switch like to a different I'm just going to start over. Like I literally started the game over. And now I'm like 50 hours into that playthrough. And I'm just about through Act 2 of 3, and apparently Act 3 is longer than Act 1 and 2. So I still got a lot of game left, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it. I worth noting, I played D&D like every other week for 2 years online, and that was I'm playing as that character that I played in a campaign for 2 years. So
Oh wow.
I'm playing as him in the world of Baldur's Gate 3, which is fun. I was able to he's not exactly the same, but he's basically the same. And it's been a lot of fun, and I highly recommend it. If you ever own something that's capable of playing it, Jess, I think you'll very much enjoy it, because especially do you still play D&D, or has that been?
We try to, but my group we all are in college in separate places in Arizona.
Yeah.
So when like four of us are free, two of us are busy.
Yeah, it can be tough. That's why I ended up not being able to continue to play once I started like working full time and had all these other responsibilities. I was like, I can't do this anymore. And so I haven't played in probably a year, but this is getting that fix for sure. And it's been great. I really love it. I already know like 3 other playthroughs that I want to do for this game. And yeah, it's like, it's what I'm going to do. Like basically the second we're done recording, I'm going to play Baldur's Gate 3 for however long I can until my anniversary dinner tonight. That's at like 8:30 because we booked it too late. But yeah, it's incredible. And then in 5 fucking days, Persona 3 comes out, the remake. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I don't know if I've ever spoken on this, but Persona 3 is the game that basically like started what is the newer Persona trilogy of 3, 4, and 5. And my concern is, because Japanese developers do this a lot, they will make a game and it has all of these really cool things in it, and then they make the next one and it doesn't have those things in it. So basically what they came out with Persona 4, and then Persona 4 Golden that had all of these like fixes and quality of life improvements. And then Persona 5 came out and didn't have those. And then Persona 5 Royale came out and had those. And I've played Persona 5 Vanilla, like the base game, and I bounced off it real hard because I was like, this is like, it's not terrible. Like I enjoyed it, but I was like, the quality of life stuff, I was like, I just don't have time for this. And then obviously I've talked about Persona 5 Royale, 160 hours, one playthrough, loved it, still think about it every week. Probably my favorite game of all time.
It's his Roman Empire.
It is my Roman Empire. I love Persona 5. And so I am cautiously optimistic of being like, I'm going to wait. It comes out February 2nd. Into the Aether, they record their episodes on Sundays. So what I'm hoping happens is one of the 2 hosts plays it, and then they record on Sunday, and then that Wednesday they'll report back, and then that's when I trust them to be able to be like, these are the things that are in it, and it is definitely like they have this, and this from Persona 5 Royale and all that, and then I'll be like, okay, sick, and then I have a week off in February, so that's probably when I'm gonna dive like full long into Persona 3. So you'll probably hear about it next month, maybe, because we're probably going to be recording later into February next month as well. But that's basically it. That's my update. I've just been playing a lot of Baldur's Gate 3, like a lot of Baldur's Gate 3. And it's been a really good time. And this is a game I can actually recommend because, like, you can literally, like, if you bought the game and just played Act 1, you would probably get it, like, more out of it than you would get from most other games. Like, Act 1 is so strong that if you stopped after Act 1 and was like, I got what I needed, and started a new game, because Act 1's like 25 hours, I think. So I highly recommend that game. It's so good. And there's
Noted.
so good, such good, like, characters and like romance options and like,
Yeah, I think. Hold on. Does Baldur's Gate have like I forgot. I think it's an elf, blonde hair.
white hair,
Yeah, white hair.
Astarion.
That dude.
Yeah.
I've talked to my roommate about it before.
You've talked to your roommate about Astarion, the elf from Baldur's Gate 3.
Yes.
Why?
'Cause, well, we were just like talking about Baldur's Gate, and then they were like, "Look at the character design. Look at this man."
Yeah, he's great. He's real good. My favorite is Karlach, the tiefling. Yeah, the tiefling berserker, or I guess tiefling barbarian berserker. She's great. She's my romance of choice in my original playthrough that I'll eventually go back to. But this playthrough, I'm focused in on Shadowheart, or as the Baldur's Gate community calls her, Shart, which is terrible. But her story, holy shit, it just got so good, and I'm like so curious where it goes from here. But yes, game is fantastic. 10 out of 10, highly recommend. And what's nice about it is, like, I'm doing like everything that I can, but literally there's so many things that I'm missing, just because, like, I'll be in a conversation and up in the top left it'll say I failed like a perception roll, which means I don't have a dialogue option come up, which means I don't get that part of the story until like later or something like that. Like, there's so many things that, like, because my character isn't good in this stat, I'm not going to be able to have this opportunity to have this line of dialogue, to have this course of action and all that kind of thing. And then also, literally in Act 1, like, you can either help these goblins or kill them to save or destroy like a druid's grove. And that takes you on like an evil path or a good path. And, like, I obviously haven't done the evil path, and that's a completely different thing with different characters that you can recruit and everything like that. And I'm like, that's crazy. Like, so much replayability. But yeah, very good. Highly recommend. I think that's it. I don't have anything else. Do you have anything else? Anything spark?
I don't have anything else.
Okay. Well, then we're ready for the spoiler section. So we'll see you guys in a second. This is your final warning for spoilers for the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. Like I said, it's free. It's 2.5 hours. You can play it with a friend. I think that would be pretty fun. And if this is where we lose you for now, we'll go play the game and come back and listen to the remainder of the podcast. But yes, we'll see you guys in a second. All right, we are back. This is, again, a warning. We're going into spoiler section for the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. Where we left off was that Sonic is unconscious and, like, paralyzed, basically. And now you're on the hunt with Tails, because Amy ran ahead into the next car. So that's where we left off. And now we just move straight from the dining car to the saloon, right?
Saloon car. Yeah. So basically, you and Tails go into the saloon car after, like, looking around the dining car for clues. You don't find much. And Knuckles is, like, pissed. And this is where you, like, actually start picking up clues and like using clues against them. Also, this was when you accuse people of things in the game, you go into full on like what's that one lawyer game?
Ace Attorney.
Yeah, you full on go like Ace Attorney, like
Objection.
yeah,
Yeah.
like but if you didn't do this, then this. And so you find different clues, and the clues here were glasses that were like used, but one of the glasses had lipstick on it. And then like oh, what game? It was Super Monkey Ball.
Yeah.
An arcade game of Super Monkey Ball, absolutely destroyed. Like if someone punched it.
Who's known for punching things, I wonder?
Who was in the saloon car?
Whose name is named after something that's on your fist?
But so you take the two pieces of clues that you have and you go to Knuckles and you're like, hey, who was in here? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then Tails is like, quick, think. It's kind of like Dora the Explorer where they're like, what do you think we should do?
Oh yeah, definitely.
But so Tails guides you through like the interrogation process of quick, what do we have that we can use against Knuckles saying that there was no one here? And you have to like you choose the glasses and then this the Game Boy pops back up and you have to play through the thing of collecting enough rings for you to put it to like piece together the evidence. It's weird when I'm trying to explain it, but I promise it makes more sense.
Yeah, it's just like it basically is a auto runner isometric view. Like you have 3 lanes to move across and jump and avoid things, and if basically it's like the Sonic the Hedgehog mini games, like the bonus stages, where it's like you have to hit a certain number of rings before you hit a checkpoint, or else you fail. You get unlimited tries, so it's not really like, but later on they do get pretty hard.
Yeah.
But there is a difficulty scale, so you can make it easier if you want to. I think there's also an option to just skip it too.
I didn't see any of that.
Yeah, I think there's accessibility options to just like turn those off.
I wish I knew.
Yeah, there's definitely, I think there's definitely at least a difficulty option to like make them easier, but I feel like there's also an accessibility option to just turn those off. But yeah, so you're accusing Knuckles.
Yeah. So while you're accusing Knuckles, he was like, I was just in here playing the arcade machine. And Tails fixes it because he's like, I can do that. I know how to fix things.
He's a genius.
Yeah, obviously. So once Tails fixes the arcade game, it's shown that Vector was above Knuckles, which is why Knuckles punched it because he was pissed that Vector beat him.
It's just an angry boy.
But so you point out the glasses and you're like, there's 4 glasses here. That's too many for just you to have a drink. And Knuckles is like, hey, the one with lipstick was Rouge because she was looking for something. And then the other 2 were me and Vector. And then Tails is like, hey, this isn't like completely in chronological order because I'm remembering things as I'm going.
No, it's fine. We don't have to be perfect because obviously we don't want to give away every single thing if we can avoid it. But yeah, it's worth notating the big moments and the funny moments and stuff because there's a lot of dialogue. Like there's a lot of like minute details that makes this game so good. And it's worth experiencing on your own.
But while Tails is still looking at the what's it called? The game, the arcade game. There's a name. It's like no, I think it's ULT.
It's Ultimate, yeah.
And Tails is like, that's Ultimate Life Form. That can only be Shadow.
Yes, the edgelord himself.
And then Knuckles is like, oh yeah, Shadow taught us how to play this. And then left and told me to lock the door.
The thought of Shadow playing Super Monkey Ball is so funny. because that game is just like so just like joyous and fun and like silly, and like Shadow's just like, and like yeah, Shadow is the best character in this game. He is
Yeah.
so funny, and the reveal later is probably like one of my favorite moments like in video games of 2023. It's so
It was
fucking
so
funny.
yeah. But practically, you guys are like, why is Shadow telling Knuckles to lock the door? That's weird.
Hmm.
Anyway, time to go. Because Amy had already like jetted off as soon as we got in. And
Yeah.
so then
Were you suspicious of Amy through the whole
a
game?
little, a little bit,
Yeah, me too. I think they did a good job of that, where it's like, oh, it can't be Amy, right? But like, she's so suspicious through the whole game.
especially because she starts talking about, I've got a scoop. I've
Hmm.
got a scoop.
Her scoop, yeah. Then the next room's the
But
library, right?
yeah, and then so in the library car, it's SBO and Vector. And this was my favorite car
I was gonna
because
say
of
this is.
how
There's a lot of funny stuff in this one.
much SBO just is like, I'm a poet. Do you want to hear my poems? And hold on. SBO poems. Okay. I have some of his poems.
Some SBO originals.
Yes. Teardrops in the spring. Can you hear me sing? La 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 la. D D D D D. Or his one about trains. Locomotive in motion. I think I lost my lotion. The window shows the ocean. Oh, wait. There's my lotion.
Dude, it's so good. He's so funny. Oh.
Here's another one. Oh my God. I love this one. So he was like, here's one about I made about space. I've made it up to space with my beloved antique vase, but but a mistake in my haste dropped the vase from my embrace. So my antique I must now replace.
So good, dude. Oh my gosh.
And after like every other one, he's like, was that one good? That was good, right?
Yeah, he's like, because he like bought into the character so much.
I freaking love SBO. And the entire time that you're talking to SBO and Vector, Vector is like, he's got not a thought behind his
Nope.
eyes.
Love that boy. Love him.
He's just like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I played Super Monkey Ball.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
Vector's really funny because he'll be on everyone's side. Like, he starts off as like, SBO couldn't have done it. What are you talking about? And then you start giving him, like, uh, evidence, and he's like, huh, maybe he did do it. Like, he's so just like, yeah, no. I mean, that makes sense. Like, I love him. He's great. He's so
yeah.
funny.
But practically while you guys are interrogating SBO and Vector, I don't remember if there's any clues that you get here.
You do because you kind of ask SBO about like how he knows so much about the train and
Oh
the
yeah,
reading the
speed reading
books.
the
Yeah.
book. He's like, I can read. So yeah, because you find the manual. Right. Because all the books are in alphabetical order except for the manual for the train.
Yeah, I think this is where you get the map too,
Yeah, I think so.
or like a brochure. It's like something like that. But yeah, you get some good lines about how SBO is a speed reader and stuff, which is
And he
really
can
funny.
read so fast.
Yeah, so
Um,
he's read the entire book, uh, in
the
the
entire
time.
like 1,000 page book.
Yeah, in the time it's taking from you to go from the dining cart to the saloon to the library, he's read 1,000 pages or something like that, and he's memorized it too. And you're like, huh? And then you quiz him on it, and he knows it, so he's right.
Yeah, he like it was like page 16, page 472, and then like page 20.
Yeah,
So obviously I went with 472 because why not? But
yeah,
he said it verbatim and we were like, huh, I guess you can read fast.
yeah. It's so funny. He's so good. I think later the library comes into play with like a like how, because I think Vector says that they saw Rouge and Blaze, but they didn't see Shadow. or something like that. Like somebody's
Uh,
hidden, and it's because of the way that like they were sitting and
it's
things
set up.
like that. Yeah, which is cool. I was like, oh, cool, nice, a little environmental thing where it's like you have to use line of sight and things like that, which was fun to actually have that thought. But they send you on your way to the casino next, right?
Yeah. And that's where Rouge and Blaze are. And oh, also like a subplot.
Mm-hmm.
Who is it that's looking for it? Is it Rouge?
The egg.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Rouge.
Yeah. So Rouge has been going through all the carts. That's why she was in the saloon cart,
Mm-hmm.
trying to find a map, a treasure map hidden on the train,
Yeah.
which is a Fabergé Chow egg.
Yeah.
And so she found the blueprints to the train with a safe code on it. And but then they're like, this is while you're trying to look for clues. And
Yeah.
then Rouge and Blaze are like, can you please help us?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I thought that was funny. But side note, when you said a subplot, I thought you were going to mention the fact that like you can rummage through every trash can in the game.
I did. I rummaged through all of the
Oh
trash
yeah,
cans,
it's
and
worth it.
by the time it we got to, I think it was, but no, by the time we got to the lounge car, I
Yeah.
wanted to look in the trash can again, and Tails is like, "Can we stop rummaging through trash cans? It hasn't, we haven't found a clue, but we'll get into that in the next
Yeah, in the next
after the
car.
casino."
Yeah, cuz it's so funny. The yeah, the casino one is interesting cuz yeah, you're just hanging out in the casino, but there's apparently a whole other room attached to it that you don't even get to see. I think it's just all art, right? Like you it's like a comic basically that you get to see like
Yeah,
what happened. It's pretty funny, but yeah,
but
I don't know exactly like how that leads up to it, but it has one of the funniest choices in the game.
I remember this one so well. So practically, Blaze and Rouge are like, "You guys should come help us," but finders keepers,
Hmm.
because obviously. And so you have to formulate like a big plan to get around a chow, which I was so happy that they include chows in here
Oh
because,
yeah,
like, I forgot what game I played, but when I was younger, whenever we'd visit my cousin in Mexico, she always had a Sonic game, and that was the game I always played. And there's like a little chow daycare where you go around the city, find chow eggs, take them back to the daycare, and then you have little chow babies.
that would be either Sonic Adventure 1 or 2. Was it on the GameCube?
I don't remember.
But yeah, it was
I
one of
just
those two
remember
games.
I was like 6 or 7.
Yeah, that is a thing that people have wanted to be brought back for years, and people are like, just make a mobile game. Make a mobile game with like the Chow Garden stuff, so we can raise our chows and do all that stuff. But Sega hasn't done it yet.
Which they are missing out on a profitable. Do you know how much I'd play that?
Yeah, a lot of people would play that.
But yeah, so one of my favorite like interactions happens right here when you're trying to like distract the chow.
Hmm.
Basically, you go up to the chow guard and it's guarding an elevator, and you're like, "Hey, there's a drink over there without a coaster." And the guard goes out of its post to go put a coaster under this drink.
It's so funny. Yeah, it's yeah. There's a lot of very like silly things like that in this game, and that's a very good example of one for sure. When is I know it's in this on this cart, but when is it when you have like a million choices on screen?
It's right here.
Okay, perfect.
So you go down the elevator, and there's like the robotic arms are in the elevator, and they try to attack you, but then Tails, being the genius he is, deactivates them.
Hmm.
And then you get down to the vault, and Rouge unlocks it, and there's a like a little secret with the egg.
Oh,
And
okay.
so practically there's 3 eggs in existence, and each have their own secret. And Rouge is like, no one's lived to tell the tale of what happens when you open the egg. And so Tails and your character are like, hey, so maybe we shouldn't. But Rouge is like, oh, she opens the egg, and then it starts just ticking.
Hmm.
And so everyone's like, oh my God, it's a bomb. And you get millions of like options of what you could do.
Mm-hmm.
It's like throw it, eat it. These were my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Throw it, eat it, give it to Tails. And then there was like wait it out, kick it, throw it out of the window.
Uh-huh.
But there was like a shit ton of options.
It's so
But
funny.
but then like finally one of the last options I chose was wait it out.
Mm-hmm.
And when you choose wait it out, it's SBO, it's you remembering that SBO said during the quiz with the manual that the train doesn't allow weapons or explosives onto the train
Mm-hmm.
for the passenger's safety. And since the egg was on board, it wasn't a bomb.
Mm-hmm.
So you were like, let the egg keep ticking. And Blaze is like, are you crazy? And you're like, just trust me. And one of, I think it's either Blaze or Rouge, but one of them's like, so we're gonna die in here.
It's
But
probably Rouge, I would say.
but after they like let it keep ticking, it opens up, and then there's a little like pendant of a Chow, and it's like a Swarovski crystal type Chow.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's it. And Rouge is like, this is mine now.
Yeah. She's just like, yep, this is it. I think, isn't she a little disappointed? And she's like, well, I guess this is mine now.
Yeah, she's like, oh, all right. And then practically, like, that's it.
Literally.
That's literally it. And then you ask Rouge and Blaze like, "Oh, hey, anything weird happen in here?" And they're like, "Oh, Shadow passed by and gave us keys, but that's it."
Yeah. Like that's all there is. It just moves on to because like they say they'll like, yeah, we'll give you whatever information you want. You just need to help us with this. And so you help them with that, and then they give you the information. And then you move on to, what is it? You said is that the lounge car is the next one?
Yes.
Okay. With the best moment of the entire game, in my opinion.
It's the cutest moment.
It's so funny. It is so funny. And it's like this
So,
is the reason, this moment is the reason why I want more of these, to like, because you would never get this type of characterization of Shadow in any
yeah.
other kind of like form, except for maybe Sonic the Hedgehog 3 whenever that comes out.
I loved this whole thing. But so practically you start looking for clues, and overhear Amy like talking to Shadow, and then Tails is like, Shadow, why are you locking the doors? And Shadow he's like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. And he's like, can you guys go? I have an appointment. Can you guys go? I have an appointment soon. And so you guys leave Shadow to look for clues, and you find a key ring with two keys left, a hidden passageway, and then a crumpled piece of paper in the trash can.
Yeah, finally the trash can plot pays off.
And that was one of my favorite lines, because I clicked on the trash can again, and fucking Tails was like, do we really need to be checking on every trash can?
Mm-hmm.
Every trash can we've chosen or we've looked through has had nothing but actual trash. And then you're like, then what's this then? And Tails is like, oh my God.
It's a clue. Yeah. Oh, it's so funny. And then I like that you just like glossed over the secret passage that leads from the lounge car to the library somehow. Like, I don't know how that works out.
If there's an entire elevator, I'm sure that the lounge car connecting to the library works.
Yeah, it's definitely a little wonky, but yes, it does connect to the library, which is like they determine that's how Shadow got around without anyone seeing him in the library. But yeah, do you want to talk about what the clue was in the trash can?
So the clue in the trash can is a picture, or like a screenshot, practically a printed out screenshot of like practically like the Ticketmaster site, to Amy's favorite band, because Shadow is trying to get Amy tickets for her favorite band. And that's what his appointment was for the tickets to drop.
Yep.
He wanted to be on the computer and print it out.
Yep. And he was locking all the doors to slow everyone down so that no one would know. He's
because he
like,
didn't. He's like, no one needs to know
yeah.
that I'm buying this for her.
Also, that he likes the band too, because he was going to go
Oh
with her.
yeah, yeah. He was buying her 2 tickets, and Amy was like, "Why are you buying me 2 tickets?" And he was like, "So that we could go." And she's like, "Oh my god, you want to go with me?"
It's like I think it's the I think if I remember the vibe I was getting was like the band was the equivalent of like Taylor Swift. So like Shadow liking Taylor Swift is so funny. Like, like it's incredible. Like that is the reveal of him being like, yeah, I like this band too. Uh it's so good. I love it.
Yeah, it's called Hot Honey.
Okay, that's right.
The band is the Hot Honey. Is Hot Honey. And
It's
so yeah, so he's like, "Yeah, I was gonna get you the tickets."
But yeah, he didn't
But
realize that Amy had the like skeleton key to open up all of the doors. So like his plan completely backfired, and that's why he's been so suspicious and weird the entire time.
yeah. But also the thing about the 2 keys that were left on his key ring,
Hmm.
because he's a locksmith. Why doesn't he have more? The 2 keys were actually for SBO and Vector,
Hmm.
but since he just used the secret passageway, he didn't think to give it to them
Yeah,
because he was like, "Oh, I'll just go through here," and then forgot about them.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, that reveal is so good. Um, Amy hasn't revealed what her scoop is yet, right? Like she has that. That comes out later, or is it in this?
Um,
I feel like it might be in this part, but I can't remember exactly.
oh no. She explains it here.
Okay, what is it?
Her hot tip is that Shadow was locking all the doors to keep Sonic from escaping the conductor's car.
Oh, okay. But that's like wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And that's actually a piece of information that comes out for the figuring out who the murderer is.
Gotcha. Okay.
Um,
Which is next, right?
yeah.
Because the
It
next car is the captain's car.
yeah, the conductor's car. So everyone at this point it's everyone who's in there with you.
Hmm.
Like somehow they all just decided, let's go. And so everyone is like in the conductor car with you. The conductor who was supposed to be up there with Sonic completely gone,
Hmm.
and no one's seen him since
Yeah.
they left.
That was when when I went into the conductor's car, that was when I realized I was like, I haven't seen the captain this like entire time.
I was wondering because like like you as a player and the conductor had like a really cute
Hmm.
like friendship at the beginning of like the intern to take over the next to be to become the next conductor and the old conductor. Like I was like they're so like cute.
Hmm.
And then I was like early on, I think by the time I got to the casino car, I was like, where the fuck is the conductor?
Yeah.
Like the train had such a like wild stop. Like he would have come out by now.
Hmm.
But practically, you go into the conductor car, no conductor, and you see a robot hand like broken from the railings and a blow dart.
Oh, that's right.
And everyone's like, "Why is there a blow dart? That's weird." And then Amy looks to the group and then she's like, "Where's Sonic?" And so she takes either Vector or Knuckles. I think it was Vector.
Oh yeah, it is. It is Vector.
She goes with Vector to go find Sonic, and he's still like unconscious. He's still
Hmm.
dead. And so everyone's like, "Oh my god, he's actually hurt." And then this is where they first say, this is where like the only time
Hmm.
they say like the big question, who killed Sonic the Hedgehog?
Yeah.
And I don't know if like I did it like spot on or something
Hmm.
because it's like, who do you think did it? And it gives you like a picture of everyone.
Yeah.
And I immediately went for SBO
Yeah. I think I did
because
too. Actually, no, I picked Amy first. I think just because I wanted to see what would happen.
what happened? Do you remember?
She just like denies it. And then it get like, yeah, it's the illusion of choice where it's like they give you
Oh,
reasons why it's not her, and then you get to choose again.
okay. So yeah, I immediately because for me, I was like, he has no other alibi except for a book.
Hmm.
He was hidden the entire time. It's got to be SBO.
He is a
And
chameleon.
then he's a chameleon.
Hmm. SBO the
Oh,
chameleon. Yeah. Hence being a ninja.
got it. I don't really know what I know Rouge the Bat and Sonic the Hedgehog.
Amy Rose is a hedgehog. Tails is a fox. Knuckles is an echidna. Vector is a crocodile.
Oh, and
Blaze
that one.
Blaze is a cat. Shadow also a hedgehog. And then SBO is a chameleon.
Got it. So practically you have this entire interrogation where you're like, oh, the passageway, because you're ninja training, you could have left any time and you could have memorized the manual for your alibi and blah blah blah. And but then what's it called? SBO's like, nuh-uh, because how would I have known about the secret passage? Because you guys were lucky to find it anyway. You guys, that was pure luck. So how could I have known it?
Mm-hmm.
But because of the blueprints that was found in the library,
Mm-hmm.
and since SBO was a ninja, he stole it from the conductor because of the code written on it. They wouldn't have left it just chilling in a library.
Yeah.
So practically, it's revealed like we determined that like SBO used the blow dart to knock Sonic unconscious and whatever. But everyone's like, but why is he so fucked up? Because
Yeah.
he's got like blood like from everywhere. He's bruised up.
Yeah, because at this point they still think it's like they were still under the impression that it was part of the game.
And then SBO's like, I did knock him out, but how did he end up in the dining car?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's shown that like in the blueprints there's like a hidden passage above the dining car, but it's too small for SBO to be dragging
Mm-hmm.
Sonic. And then I can't remember what else happens here.
I mean, I think that's when they discover that he shot him with a blow dart, and
Yeah.
then they ask him where he got the blow dart since no weapons were allowed.
No, because that's afterwards, after Sonic wakes up, I think.
Oh, okay.
I just know that we like talk SBO into a corner
Mm-hmm.
and he like can't find loopholes around anything. So Tails is like, "You're the murderer," and then Sonic wakes up and is like, "Guys, SBO jumped me," but as he was leaving, I tried telling him something important,
Mm-hmm.
and the important thing is that the train is a badnik,
Yeah.
and that they need to get off. But so practically, when the game first started, Sonic was talking to the conductor, and Sonic just happened to ask about the power source,
Mm-hmm.
and the conductor was like, I've never seen it."
Yeah. After like
And
30 years of being on this train.
and so it turns out that it was a flicky.
Yeah, which is those little birds.
Yeah. Which lore on Tails' character, Tails is a detective and his assistant in his past life was a flicky who turned bad because of Dr. Eggman.
Okay.
And so you being Tails' assistant is actually helping Tails through trauma.
That's so
And
funny.
there's a couple lines where he's like, "Are you going to turn on me?"
Oh yeah, that's right.
Sorry, it's just because my last assistant was turned by Dr. Eggman.
It's so funny. I forgot about that. Poor Tails.
But practically, when they saw the flicky, that's when Sonic was hit by the blow dart, and then the train, because it's like sentient.
Yeah.
It was like, "You now know my secret." No,
No.
So that's no, so that's when the speeding up happened, and the arms grabbed the conductor to keep him safe because the arms love him,
Yeah.
and then the severed arm that we found at the beginning of the captain's place was because even though Sonic was hit by a like practically horse tranquilizer,
Yeah.
he still had enough to sever it.
Yeah. Because he's a badass.
Yeah, but he was still beat the fuck up and
Yeah.
then thrown to the dining car.
Yeah. And then I think at this point it's revealed that like the train is taking Sonic and his friends to Robotnik, like directly, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and this is when SBO's like, "Yeah, I thought hitting Sonic with the blow dart was like part of the rules because he got a note from the staff. The like one of the robotic arms gave him the dart and instructions saying kill Sonic or hit Sonic with this.
Yeah.
And so it's like revealed like, oh, the train is behind it, and then the train is like, we're taking you to Robotnik now.
Yeah, exactly.
And its whole so the train has its own reason for this because it knows that it's the conductor's last day.
Mm-hmm.
But the conductor had, like, when he was 20, promised the train that they'd be together forever.
That's right.
And so, Dr. Eggman told any badniks, like, hey, I'll give you whatever you want if you bring me Sonic the Hedgehog and friends. So the train's trying to use this as the train's wish is to never let the conductor go.
Yep.
And so he's like, you will be mine. And the train speeds up again and flings everyone back to or just flings everyone out of the conductor car, and everyone's like spread out again. And now you're with Sonic, and you're just alone with Sonic in the dining car.
Yeah, this is your moment of like being able to spend time with Sonic, the main guy for the rest of the game.
And so this was the cutest part. There's a part where like you're like, oh my god, in your character's brain, you're thinking like, oh my god, this is all my fault. I knew Sonic was hurt. Like, this is all my fault. I could have saved him. I could have like this all could have been avoided if I did something. And then Sonic's like, hey, this isn't your fault. Like, we just need to get the others and get out of here. Don't be in your head. And I was like, that's so sweet.
Yeah, Sonic's the man. He's great. That's why I like Sonic more than Mario. Mario is not a character. He's just a chubby Italian plumber, and that's it.
But yeah, so practically, and so you're like clicking around to find more clues about like what to do, and then you like click the TV screen and Eggman appears.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah, so basically I created this train to be self-sufficient, and it needed more motivation than just programming. So I told all the trains that whoever captures Sonic first gets a reward. And he was like, but usually badniks would ask something simple like an autograph. But I guess this train wants something bigger, and then like leaves.
Mm-hmm.
And so Sonic's like, okay, so what do we do? And then this is my favorite part. You as your character remember that whenever you and Tails were like stuck in a predicament, Tails would go, what would Sonic do?
Mm-hmm.
And so you told that to Sonic, and you were like, well, when Tails and I got stuck, we asked, what would Sonic do? And he was like, and Sonic was like, I would speed through the door and break down the door to get to the friends.
Mm-hmm.
And so in each different car, I had to play all the little mini games to get enough rings, to get enough speed to break down the door.
Yeah, this one was semi-hard.
Getting through the doors for me was like pretty okay.
Mm-hmm.
It was getting to the defeating the train itself.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of then. Yeah, I was like, whatever the last one was actually like semi-difficult.
That's beating the train itself. And that, as soon as you get back up to the conductor's car, after like freeing all the friends, the train's like, no, you're supposed to be with me, conductor. You're not supposed to retire. No, you guys can't have him.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're battling the train, and in the mini game, you are like dodging so much shit. And as soon as you start battling the train, by the way, you can't save anymore.
Oh, this is the point? I was wondering when that point that you were talking about was.
Yeah, you can't save once you get up to the conductor's car, which I didn't know until I rage quit at one point because I was like, I can't do this, and this is so dumb. And so I just like logged off, and then I went back on like 30 minutes later, and then it started. I had gotten through like 5 levels of that thing.
Oh, no.
And then it started me right back at the beginning.
That's rough.
And I was like, fuck. So I had to do it again and again and again. And I think this is what took me the longest. Out of everything, this is like because I got like 2.7 hours on this thing. This is the point 0.7. This is like,
That's funny. That's a yeah. Yeah, I do remember it being a little difficult. So, and it felt kind
uh,
of like they ramped it up pretty quick.
oh yeah. No, it went from like collecting 50 coins to collecting 100
Yeah, and you can,
in
and if
like,
you get hit, you lose them.
yeah.
Yeah, that was tough.
But practically, like, you finally defeat the thing, the train, and what's it called? SBO, like, once you start defeating it, SBO goes and like saves the Flicky,
Hmm.
and then Amy, using the hammer that she was allowed to bring on,
Yeah,
completely like obliterates the conductor car.
yeah,
And then the conductor, since he like can control the train again, gets to the nearest station and like apologizes to everyone. He's like, "Sorry guys, this was not supposed to happen."
hmm,
And then everyone's like, "Yippee, we made it!" And then the cutest thing is once they're at the station and like they're all off and stuff, the conductor's wife comes up and she's like, "You're late. We were supposed to go on our trip already." And he's like, "I'm sorry. Like we got caught up in things." And she's like, "I'm not mad at you as long as I have you all to myself now." And I was like, "That's so sweet."
yeah. Just like random cuteness at the end.
But then everyone like realizes that they never ate anything. So Sonic runs over to like a bakery and buys a birthday cake for Amy.
Hmm.
And so they're all like, what's it called? They're all like, "Oh my God, yay!" And they like, even though it was like a shit show of a train ride, they're like, "That was so fun. We should do another murder mystery again."
Yeah, I would
And
be so down.
your character's like, "They want to do this again? How crazy is this group?"
Yeah, they're insane is the answer. They're absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And then
And then
did
that's
you?
practically it until you get the comic strips.
Yeah, with Robotnik and his children.
Yeah.
With I think her name is Sage. She's from the Sonic Frontiers game, and then Metal Sonic. They're both wearing T-shirts that says "Let's Go, Dad."
Yeah. They're
So,
the, I saw the Let's Go Dad with the little like streamers in their hand. And I was like,
yeah,
"That's so cute."
it's just
And
so
then
funny.
and Robotnik's like, "You guys need to go fix this now."
Yeah, it's so good. It's so funny. I like, yeah, just like "Let's go, Dad." Like, I love it.
And then after you get that little comic strip, you there's a little cutscene where you are practically telling like you practically saying like, "Oh yeah, well, the cities found out that Eggman was behind the train system, so they took it away from him, and now everything's great." And you get to decide what happens next. So either you keep your job, you practice your singing, you keep your job, practice your singing, or win the lottery. And there's also go up to and then if you choose win the lottery, you go up to space or you run a local supermarket. And I chose win the lottery and run a local supermarket.
I do not remember this at all. That's so
Here, hold on.
funny.
I'm trying to get you a picture of it so you can
Yeah,
see
yeah.
it. I can't.
That's right. This is the line that I wanted to talk about with SBO. It's what Knuckles says about SBO. He says, "I've known SBO a long time. He once sped read a book I was reading just to spoil the ending for me." Which is my favorite line. It's so, like that. I saw that on Twitter, which is what made me download the game. I was like, that is insane. What a funny like line to be like, "Yep, I read this book so I could spoil the ending." It's so good.
I can't find it.
Yeah, there's not a lot of. I was trying to find images and stuff too. There's not a lot of images out there, but I don't remember what I did. I do remember that end choice, but I don't remember what I chose. So you ran a supermarket on the moon, is what you said?
No, I win the lottery and then ran a supermarket,
Oh, okay.
the local supermarket.
Gotcha. That's so funny. What a choice. But yeah, I mean that's basically it. That's the game. So what would you like? I mean, we already talked about it, right? Like everyone should play this game. It's hilarious. And
Oh yeah.
if you know a little bit about Sonic, you'll get enjoyment out of it. And if you know like a ton, you'll get even more enjoyment out of Sonic, the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. My question is, before we go into our sign-offs and stuff, is like, what other game franchise that like doesn't have games like this would you want in this style of game? Like, all of a sudden, you do a visual novel style game that is more character focused than gameplay focused.
I don't know. It's a good question.
My thought while I was playing this was like the Breath of the Wild Zelda like universe, because I think those characters are so much more fleshed out than the rest. And I think like having they already did like a prequel game, the like Age of Calamity, like Dynasty Warriors style one, but like I think a story like exactly what happened from the start of Link being a knight to, the issues that Zelda has with having a sworn protector all the way up to the point of Link going into his 100-year slumber, I think would be a really cool. Obviously it'd be a lot more heavy than the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, but I think it would be a cool way of exploring that dynamic and that world. And I think a lot of games or like game franchises should take a note from this and be like, yeah, like we have these cool characters and it was fun to just put them in a setting that wasn't gameplay heavy and it was just like a story based thing. And like it got Sonic a lot of publicity and it's probably one of my favorite Sonic games, to be honest.
Yeah. I like the only Sonic games I've played are this one and then whichever one I played in Mexico. But like I used to love like didn't that have a TV show?
Oh, they've had
at one
multiple
point?
TV shows. Yeah.
I loved their TV show. I don't remember exactly which one I watched,
Yeah. There's a lot
but
of good ones.
I loved watching Sonic.
Yeah.
Not even just playing it, but like this one.
And then, yeah, the
If I had
movies
to
are
choose
great
out of-
too.
The movies are great. I can't believe what happened at our last watching of Sonic.
Yeah. That was quite funny. That man was so hyped for the shadow reveal.
For those of you who don't know, we went to watch Sonic 2, and at the end credits scene, it's revealed that the next movie is going to be about Shadow. And the guy behind us goes, "It's Shadow! It's Shadow!"
Yeah.
And he's screaming.
Like straight up screaming. Like it was crazy. I was like, whoa, okay. A man knows what he likes, and he was excited. So I hope he really enjoys the next movie. I hope it's everything he wants it to be, because that'll clearly be the highlight of his life with that response. But yeah. With that, do you want to hit us with the socials real quick?
You can find us everywhere at Short Long Pod. In our link tree, is our Discord in the link tree?
It is.
Okay, I was making sure because I've said it the last 2 times, not
been lying.
fully being,
Yeah.
not fully like confident.
No, it's there. It's there.
But our friend group, LFG, Leveling Friends Group, is in our Discord. If you want to join that, we're just a community with a bunch of content creators and content listeners that we just chat. And there's game deals. My favorite channel is a pet channel.
Pet channel's good.
But yeah, join it, introduce yourself, make friends.
Cool. Yeah, and then if this is your first time listening, please, whatever you're on, leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It really helps the channel grow. And then if you're a returning listener, find a new person who's never listened to this show before and send them our way, because we don't like pay for advertising or anything like that. So helping the channel grow through word of mouth is the best way to do it. But our next game, we might have it between the games in the works, like for early February, but I'm not sure. But our next game is going to be with Chris Lee from the Nerdlies. He's going to join us for Sucker for Love First Date. It's going to be, we talked about doing that for Valentine's Day last year and it got away from us, but we're going to do it for this year for late February. So that game's like $5, I think, typically, maybe $10. It's on Steam.
I think it's
Yeah, it's a good game. I've watched Let's Plays. I've never played it myself, so I'm excited to play that. But that'll be, if you want to join us for that, be prepared. It's Sucker for Love First Date, where we'll have a cool guest to discuss that. But with that, don't forget to kidnap your friends.
Bye, guys. Let me tell you, that voice message that I left myself was long.
Yeah, that's so funny. How long was the like actual time on it?
I have 15 minutes.
That is long. Holy shit. That is a
lot
full
of it
recap.
was me. A lot of it was me going, okay, so do you remember this? This? Do you remember this? And
That's
so I
so
had
funny.
to like. That's when I was like looking online with what the fuck am I telling myself to remember?